Hello and welcome back, students, to looking at research methods in our AS level psychology course. In this part we will be recapping a lot of the knowledge that everyone has learned in GCSE science, where we were looking at variables. So let's step right in. Now the three basic variables are those that we've gone over in GCSE. They're the basic factors that get tested and measured, and they're called variables. So the first of them is the dependent variable. Now this is the factor that you're going to be measuring in the experiment. The independent variable is the variable that you're changing to investigate the effect upon the independent variable. On a graph, remember, the independent variable always goes along the x-axis and the dependent variable goes along the y-axis. Okay, so we've got this. The third basic variable is that of the control variable. Now this is the variable that you're going to keep the same throughout the whole experiment. So let's just get a scenario to give us some examples. If we were investigating, let's say, the effect of temperature on evaporation, the dependent variable would be the rate of evaporation. That's because it's what we're going to be measuring. The thing we're changing to affect the dependent variable is going to be the temperature, as that's what we're going to check as the independent variable, as we expect that as the temperature increases, so will the rate of evaporation. So that's going to affect the dependent variable, and therefore the temperature is the independent variable. So now with the control variable, we are going to have to keep everything the same in the experiment. So let's say we are trying to evaporate 50 milliliters of water. Every single sample of water that we try and evaporate would have to be 50 milliliters as well. So everything is the same. We can't have one sort of container of water that has 1 liter of water and one that has 50 milliliters, as of course they're going to take different times to evaporate fully. Okay, so those are the three basic variables. There are also a new set of variables that come in with AS level psychology, and these are called confounding variables. Although synonymously, they can also be called extraneous variables, so it really matters whatever your teacher told you, they're both the same thing. So confounding variable is an unwanted variable that impacts the relationship between the dependent and independent variable. So basically, this is anything that, for example, like the time of day, that really messes with your experiment and you don't want it to. So let's say we're doing a task on memory recall. We're investigating how many words each gender can memorize out of a list of words. Now the time of day can greatly influence what time, so how many words we remember. Say at night, some people are feeling more tired, so they may not want to, and in the morning there may be some reason why our brains are more active. So therefore, if we were to test the males at night and the females in the morning, the females should probably get better results. So this is just a variable which, we can't really account for, that may mess with the experiment. That's why they do have to try and be controlled. But there are certain times which you can't do anything about it, like the time of day, and just have to try and fiddle with your parameters of the experiment to try and avoid it. Now, this is a really hard word to say, I always get tongue-tied, but operationalization. Try saying that one a few times. Okay, so you must operationalize your variables. This is huge in AS level psychology. It is massive. Now, if you're wondering what it is, it means when you add a suitable unit of measurement to work with. So for example, we are talking about our variables. Let's say we're measuring for example, someone's height and their intelligence. We must have to operationalize both height and intelligence. So height may be done using a ruler. We are going to measure people in centimeters. And then intelligence, that's quite arbitrary, but for example, IQ points is how we're going to measure intelligence. We must always give a suitable unit of measurement to work with for every single variable that we use. And notice how I've highlighted suitable. We can't go measuring people in micrometers, and we can't go measuring our roads in nanometers. It wouldn't make sense. It'd be too difficult. I mean, you could do it, but it has to be suitable. That's why it's better to measure our roads in kilometers and us in centimeters or meters or feet or whatever. But the unit measurement has to be suitable so that it is pretty easy to work with and easy to compare to then other systems as well. Okay, so we're moving on to the questions now. As always, pause the video and have a look at them, try and answer them. Whenever you're ready, hit that play button and see how many you get right. Okay, here are the answers. If you did get all 4 done, Brilliant, well done, and move on to the next video. If not, I would advise you to just go over your notes, read them a little more thoroughly, or just make some new ones from the start of the video. And whenever you're done, we can move on to the next lesson, which will be looking at sampling methods. So until then, we will see you next time.